Also, I'm the coordinator of the Enterprise Europe Network Madrid Consortium, and I welcome all of you to this first MSCA Staff Exchanges 2023 brokerage event and info session. And I'm very happy and delighted to have with me some colleagues. We are organizing this brokerage event and this info session together with the Research Executive Agency and the European Innovation Council and SME Executive Agency. I have Vasily Tsahul and Rodrigo Gutierrez from RIA, also Ana Sibila from ISMEA, and Endika Gil Uriarte from a company alias Robotics that he is going to present his experience participating in a RISE project. After the info day, all the meetings that were booked during the last weeks in the brokerage event platform is going to be start at 11:30. And after the brokerage event, all of you are able to continue matchmaking actions in our Maria Scorza Curie matchmaking platform that is open until May 2024. So you have here the links, and we will provide you all the presentation. So now I'm happy to present Vasiliki Sarhu and Rodrigo Gutierrez. The floor is yours to present the staff exchange call.
Hello, good morning. I hope that you can hear us. We are here in Brussels, my colleague Vasiliki Sarhu and me, Rodrigo Gutierrez Dominguez, and we are going to introduce you into the staff exchanges. Action is one of the MSCA Maria Scorza Curie actions, and we hope that today this will really help you to understand our action and the benefits that you can get by participating in MSCA staff exchanges. And indeed, our presentation will be split in two parts. The first one will be just an introduction into the action as such, while the second part, we are going to explain you in more detail the process for application. Yes, as I announced now, first we go first with the main features of the action. As you can see in the screen, our action is aimed to increase and to enhance the knowledge transfer between the different participation organizations. It's a bottom-up action. That means the coordinators and the participants, they can make a choice about the field, the scientific field that they want to apply for. This really trying to improve the mobility between the different participating entities in the project, and through this mobility, the companies and the organizations, they should really reach the exchange of knowledge and the improvement of their research and innovation skills. Indeed, one of the main points as well of staff exchanges is that it wants to improve and boost the collaboration between universities and the private sector. As you will see later on, the participation of the SMEs and the private sector in our action, our project is quite high. And finally, as well, it's very important that to highlight the 3I of the staff exchange action, because we consider ourselves as international, intersectorial, as I already mentioned, and interdisciplinary. And then you will see afterwards why we call ourselves the 3I. Starting maybe with just the minimal conditions that has to be fulfilled in order to apply for a staff exchange project. First of all, there are three requirements. That the first one is the number of organizations, legal entities that could participate. It's important as well the country where they are based. and finally the sector to which they belong. Talking about the countries, talking about the legal entities, it's necessary that at least to have a minimum of 3 independent legal entities participating in a staff exchange project. These 3 legal entities, as you can see on the screen, should be based in 3 different countries, and at least 2 of these countries should be members of the European Union or associated countries to the program Horizon Europe. Further to that, there is as well the requirement of the sector, and as you can see in the screen, when we have 3 entities participating in the on a staff exchange project, and the 2 of them, they can be in the same sector, but the third one, if they are all in the European context, they are all based in Europe or associated countries to the program Horizon Europe, one of them has to belong to a different sector. As you can see here on the sample, you have to, you may consider that if you have 2 universities based in Europe, the third entity as well based in Europe, in order to be able and eligible for funding, has to be coming from the so-called non-academic sector. Just very briefly, I will remind you what means for us academic sector and non-academic sector. The academic sector includes all the private or public higher education entities capable to award with degrees, and as well private and public research or non-profit organizations, together with the so-called International European Research Organizations, the IERO. Then the non-academic is everything that is not defined under the first one. That means all the socioeconomic actors that they are not included in the academic sector. This is very important for you to understand what we consider as academic and non-academic. Finally, we like as well to highlight the fact that if there is a willingness from the consortium to have all the entities participating in the project in the same sector, then in this case, this is well possible, but that's why the project will become international, because as you can see here, there might be the possibility that 2 of the entities, they are based, well, the 3 entities, they are belonging to the same sector. In this case, as you can see on the sample, 2 are based in Europe, and the third one is based in Japan. That means that when the entities are participating in our project, the requirement regarding the sector does not become relevant anymore, because you can have all the entities participating in the project in the same sector. The example you have on the screen is referring to the private sector, to the non-academic sector, but the same apply for the academic sector. When we move forward to define what is eligible staff for funding in a staff exchange project, it's very important that all the staff that participate in our projects, they have to really be linked and involved in research and innovation activities. The definition of the staff eligible in a staff exchange project is very wide. As you can see, they can participate as researchers at any stage of the research career, from senior to early stage researchers, but as well administrative staff that is linked and participating actively in research and innovation activities. For instance, when they are preparing the submission for a patent that is the outcome of the research project, this staff as well could as well participate, together with the managerial and technical staff that they as well actively participating in research and innovation activities. A precondition, a pre-requirement to participate as well in our project is that all staff that is going to participate in the exchanges that we call in our jargon secondments, they have to be linked at least 1 month. They have to participate at least 1 month prior to the secondment in the sending institution in research and innovation activities. This is a requirement that cannot be bypassed. It's a mandatory that this one is fulfilled before the staff is considered eligible for funding. The maximum, we have a minimum and a maximum duration for the secondments. They can participate in just 1 month is the minimum, or they can reach up to 12 months of duration for a secondment. The staff needs to be fully devoted to the project during the secondment. That means while the staff is performing the research and innovation activities, they cannot participate in other activities for another project. They have just to be focused on the scientific and technological activities of the staff exchange concern project. I would like as well to mention that after there is a novelty here in comparison to Horizon 2020. The staff can perform the secondments with different speeds in different institutions, and the addition of all these speeds will be computed finally as the total duration of the secondment. But this is maybe, this is indeed a novelty compared to Horizon 2020 now in the context of Horizon Europe. Finally, in order to maximize, to get the maximum benefit of the exchanges and the secondments, the staff has to return back to the selling institution, because this will indeed facilitate the transfer of knowledge, and the selling institution will acquire new skills and scientific knowledge that was not before in the organization. When we are talking about which are the eligible secondments, first looking at the European context, as you can see, we are, and maybe this time I will focus first in the intersectorial action. That means that we promote the mobility between academia and non-academia. That means between universities and, for instance, companies. And this is the mobility that is funded under a staff exchange project. But this is a novelty as well in the frame of Horizon Europe. We fund as well mobility, and the secondments are eligible between within the same sector. As you can see here in the European context, and this only applies for the EU member states, for institutions based in EU member states and associated countries to the program Horizon Europe, the mobility is as well possible between entities in the same sector. You can see on the screen that we have an example of mobility between two different universities. And this is possible up to 1/3 of the total person months that they are funded in the project. That means up to the equivalent of 1/3 of the total budget in the project. We will explain later on what we mean with the person months and the equivalence in terms of budget. Then this is therefore is the second I. Is the first I was the intersectorial. The second I in this case is interdisciplinary. This is what concerns the secondments, because in any case we are looking forward to have interdisciplinary projects that not necessarily they have to have interdisciplinary secondments. And then comes to us the third I, that is the international mobility. And as you can see on the screen, the international mobility is possible towards any third country, any partners located in third countries. But this is funded by the Commission from the European Union or city countries to Horizon Europe program towards third country partners. But here we have a restriction. As you can see in the frame of a staff exchange project, on the top it's possible to have mobility from low, medium income third countries as defined in the Horizon Europe program guide. This is possible. We can fund the mobility of low, medium income third countries towards the European Union. And this funding, as we'll explain later on, can be done indirectly. While for the mobility that is coming from the high-income third countries, for instance, US, Japan, India, and others, this mobility has to be funded directly by those entities and those with national funds that the entities can get in the sending countries, because this mobility is not funded by us. Maybe to clarify a bit more what we have already explained in the previous slides, and here you have a very good summary, what is staff exchanges. First of all, it's important to know that in the context of staff exchanges, we are not paying salaries. We are paying contribution to the travel accommodation subsistence. These are top-up allowances that complement the already salaries that the staff should be received before the participating in our action, and should continue receiving during the participation in our action. Second thing is that we are a unit cost-based action. That means we are funding 1 month of eligible staff secondment. That corresponds to the amount of 4,600 euros. But we are not a real cost action, and we don't have either, because this is quite often the case, the question that we are not funding, we don't have a country coefficient in comparison to other MSCA actions. The second important thing as well is that the secondment, as we used to say in ourselves, is our main deliverable, is the key outcome of the staff exchange project. We are not just focused on the scientific deliverables. The importance of the action is that the science is implemented through the mobility. And the last point that we like well to highlight today is that the research, technical, administrative, and managerial staff are as well eligible to participate in our projects if they are linked or they are performing research and innovation activities. Going into more detail about what we pay and the unit cost. The unit cost. Here you can see that we are paying for every single mobility of 1 month 4,600 euros. This is the unit cost, and this is divided in 2 categories. The first category is the so-called category A, that is on the top of the screen, that correspond to the staff member unit cost, is 2,300 euros, and this is aimed to pay the accommodation, the traveling, and as well the the traveling and any cost that can be, and the subsistence cost that can be incurred during the secondment that the staff is performing. It's important as well to highlight that this amount cannot be, of course, could be subject to taxes, but cannot be, has to be given in the totally to the staff that is performing the secondments, cannot be reduced by any other reason. This is very important, and is something that we check carefully in our site. On the others, the other 2 points that you can see on the screen, the research, training, networking, and the management and indirect cost. This corresponds to the category B, is the cost regarding that they can be used for the overhead cost can be used for the management of the action, and for that the entities that they are managing the mobility, they can use 1,000 euros per month that is implemented during the secondment, and then you have an additional 1,300 euros that tries to contribute to the research that is implemented during the project, that could be as well used for training and networking activities. Here I would like as well to mention that for these 2 subcategories that belong to the category B, there is more flexibility and can be used as well to complement the staff member unit cost. For instance, if there is a fellow that is performing a secondment in a country that could be considered very costly, for instance, a fellow coming from I don't know, from Argentina is going to the UK, to United Kingdom, and there is a need for having this additional, because during the secondment additional cost has been incurred, then this fellow could use partially the amount of the money, when we say UK, could be as well France, could use partially the amount of the money category B to complement the category A in such a way that the fellow can have his or her cost concerning subsistence, accommodation, and traveling covered by our funding. This is one of the flexibilities. Another important thing that I would like as well to mention is that, as I mentioned before, low-income, middle-income countries, they can get as well funding through staff exchange project, and here the funding can be indirect. That means that if a fellow from a low-income, middle-income country, for instance, coming from Colombia, is coming into Europe, into Spain, France, Italy, wherever is the European Union country that is hosting this fellow is entitled for, is eligible for funding, and the funding can be given directly to the sending institution in Colombia, and then they can manage themselves the funds. And this has to be as well well described in the so-called consortium, well, in this case, partnership agreement, because this involves the third country participants. And or this money can be managed as well directly to fund the secondment of the concerned fellow by the host institution. In this case, will be maybe the company or the university located in Italy or in wherever country in Europe. They can manage directly the money that is aimed to cover the cost incurred by the fellow during the secondment in Europe. This is the possibility that is given to all entities located and existing low middle income countries. When we are moving forward about the key features of our action, I insist on the fact that we are bottom-up action. That means it's up to the coordinator to make the choice to which scientific field they want to apply. We have engineering, we have social science, we have economics, we have as well environment panel, we have as well, not to forget, life panel. Therefore, all the scientific fields are in the scope of a staff exchanges project. The maximum duration of our project is 4 years. We are funding up to 360 PMs. That is equivalent to 1,600,000, a bit more of 1,600,000 euros. And we can maybe here give you more or less some hints about what is the average size of a project. Majority of our projects are they last 4 years. And we could say that the average size of our project is around 1 million euros, but we have as well projects that they reach the maximum amount that is funded by us. The duration, I will not insist here, just 1 to 12 months. The flexibility that now different destinations can be performed during the duration of the secondments in different splits, and that there is the maximum, this is a flexibility for those entities located in Europe and associated countries to their program of 1/3 of the PMs for interdisciplinary mobility. As you can see as well, you have here the unit cost. I will not insist on that. And maybe it's important for you that we are funding in average 77.5 million euros per call, and we have 1 call a year. Why we say ourselves that we are making a difference? Because, want to be humble, but nevertheless, we are maybe the action that is contributing the highest in terms of participation of non-EU countries in the context of the MSCA actions. This is duly reflected and endorsed by the figures of the participation in RISE, the predecessor of staff exchanges, in the context of Horizon 2020. We have as well a very important participation of the business. We can say as well, and it's endorsed by the figures, that 20% of valuable funding was implemented by companies and the private sector. And it's as well, this is well linked to the fact that we are one of the actions in the context of Horizon Europe that is able to issue more and to deliver more patents, reaching almost 37%. And we think as well that now is a good opportunity for you, because staff exchange could be considered as an entry gate into the Horizon Europe program. And this is as well endorsed by the fact that the success rate is quite high, 40%. And if we compare this with, of course, we depend on discipline, but if we compare this with other MSCA actions, is really a good opportunity to jump into the program Horizon Europe. And here you have just very quickly some benefits that we consider can be got immediately by participating in staff exchanges. The first row is concerning the fellows, the staff that is participating in the project. They can, of course, improve their skills, and this will make them. They will give them the opportunity to find maybe a job in easily compared to those that have not participated in our project, because they improve their skills, not only the technical ones, the technical ones, but as well the personal ones. They can get access to research infrastructure that maybe they don't have in their sending institution. They can have as well the opportunity to convert ideas that they have developed in the context of a laboratory into tangible assets that could be put forward into a market. And of course, our action is aimed to create and develop the talent. Regarding the companies, we say that this will bring all the organizations in general, not only companies, but the university as well, of course. This gives them the opportunity to establish collaborative networks. In many cases, these networks already exist, but thanks to the participation in staff exchange, they are able to further develop the network. Of course, there is a clear transfer of knowledge thanks to the mobility between organizations, and there is access as well to expert knowledge. And maybe here I would like to add, on top of that, is a good opportunity, maybe in particular for private sector, to identify talent in the academic sector, and after the project to recruit and to incorporate them in your staff. Then do not miss that opportunity. And say that, I will give the floor to my colleague, Vasiliki.
Good morning from me as well. And together we will talk about how to prepare your MSCA Staff Exchanges proposal. And we will start with where to find all the information. So the European Commission and its funding bodies are publishing all the calls in the Funding and Other Opportunities portal. And there you have to find your call, sign in, create your profile, and register your organization. This is to get a unique 9-digit identifier, the participant identification code, which is unique for every organization. Now, all the organizations that are part of your consortium should have one. All you have to do is to check first if your organization has already a PIC number, and if there is one, then you don't need to register again. Then you have to, in case you have a successful proposal, you will have to validate your organization before the signing of the grant agreement. This will be done by the Research Executive Agency. And if you have any more questions related to the Research and Horizon Europe, you can contact the Research Inquiry Service via the web form that you can see. The Staff Exchanges program is built in around the consortium that is collaborating with a project idea. Therefore, to build the consortium is very important. This is why today's event is going through. You can also find partners using the partner search functionality in the Funding Centers portal, where you can find partners that have been already participating previously in EU funding opportunities. You may have also additional support with the online manual. Now, as we said, the consortium is very important, and this is how you can set up your consortium. Thank you. Setting a consortium is very important, and it is practically a group that is collaborating together, having a common idea. So what you have to do is to work on your idea, define the purpose and the scope, and identify potential members aligned with your goals. And then once you find your future partners, you have to bring them together and brainstorm, organize the communication channels, and set up regular meetings to be always together, communicating, and then gather all the information that you need. Follow the call deadlines and submit your proposals. There are complementary funding mechanisms in third countries such as Australia, Japan, Mexico, and others, and that are aligned very well with, combined very well with MSCA Staff Exchanges. For further details related to that, you should visit the Guide for Applicants. Now, let's see how you can find our goal. First of all, you have to go to the Funding Centers portal and use the search line here to type Staff Exchanges. Once you see our goal, you can open the link, and there you are. Practically, what you will see here is a list of documents, and I would like to draw your attention to the standard application form, for example, to the Guide for Applicants, and to the work program. There is a list of reference documents like those that you see on the slides, which you have to always have with you while preparing your proposal. And I will highlight again the Guide for Applicants, the MSCA work program, but also the online manual of how to submit your proposal. And you can check the frequently asked questions, because usually a simple question is there. Now, if we go further, we can see that the proposal documents consists of two parts. So we have part one, which is filled online and contains the administrative information about the organizations that consist the consortium, and also the EU funding request. In the part B is the description of action, and you have to download this part from the portal, fill it in, and then submit it. Now, let's see a little bit more in detail the part one. The part one contains the general information. For example, here you have to say your the acronym of your proposal, the duration of your proposal, but most important, the panel that your proposal will be part in. And you can use also descriptors to show the main fields that your proposal fits in. Now, our action is very interdisciplinary. Therefore, there are a lot of panels that could fit. Now, identify which is the core panel, the core discipline for your proposal, and this is what you have to select there. To show the interdisciplinarity of your proposal, you can use other descriptors and keywords. You have to use from 3 up to 5 keywords, and you can find the exact way how to do that in our Funding Centers portal. Now, the scientific panels in MSCA, in all MSCA actions, are those that are seen on the slide. So we have chemistry, social sciences and humanities, economic sciences, information science and engineering, environment and geosciences, life sciences, mathematics, and physics. Now, it is important here to identify, maybe a bit one before, yes. It is important here to identify the panel of your proposal, because from this panel, we are going to select experts that will evaluate your proposal. And each proposal should be submitted in one panel. As a rule now, the call budget will be shared in its panel according to the number of the eligible proposals that will be submitted in the panel. Now, to help you select the panel for your proposal, you may consult a document that is available on our website. You can find it also on you can find the link on the guide for applicants, which provides a breakdown of the research area into several keywords. For example, the area of chemistry has 4 sub-areas, and then and that is defined by the level 1 keywords. And then each sub-area can be also accompanied by a second set of keywords, and that is the level 2 keywords. Now, using these keywords for the disciplines that are describing your proposal, you can show the scientific, the interdisciplinarity, but also the scientific panel that your proposal fits in best. Now, to conclude, please check the respective information, choose the panel and keywords that fit best your proposal, and submit. Now, let's go to see an example. You can see here a staff exchanges proposal, a project. So we have a project here with 9 partners. They are situated in 7 different countries, and we have 4 universities and 5 companies that are participating to this consortium. The consortium aims to develop novel green polymeric materials for medical use. And for that, we have staff from a Polish company, as you can see. As you can see here, staff from this Polish company are seconded to US in order to be trained on how to design green products. Then staff from the Italian entity here, the company, is visiting also US in order to prepare bio-based blends and composites. Then both these companies, the Italian and the Polish, they are involved in the production of materials for medical use, while the university in US, together with the collaborator, which is the university in Poland over here, they are experts in the design and the synthesis of polymers bio-based polymers. Then the staff from the Polish university is visiting the German company here in order to be trained to the processing of the green polymers. And then we have another displayed here, another secondment from the Serbian company to this, university to this Greek company over here, that he's going to be trained in the characterization on polymers. So in total, this is just an example, and in total, this project has 320 person-months of secondments, which corresponds to more or less 1.5 million euros. Now, how can we see that, and how can we interpret that to the part B? sorry, to part A. So you can see here, for example, in the table of contents that we have, apart from the general information, we have information about the participants. So we have the list of participating organizations, the organization data, and the researchers that are involved in this proposal. And then we have the budget table. Now you can see in the budget table that all member states or associated countries, or the members that are based in a EU member state or associated country, together with those of the low-medium third country, they are encoding the number of the seconded researchers and the number of person months, and this corresponds to the budget at the end of the table, as you can see on the right. Now, when we have a third country that belongs to a high income type, then this, in principle, is 0 here in the number of secondments, and it's 0 on the number of person months. For exceptional funding requests, you have to visit the guide for applicants and see what you can do about that. Now, at the end of part A, you can also find the section with ethics and security that you have to complete as well. Now, let's go to part B, which is actually the part where you will elaborate your idea. This consists of part B1 and part B2. In the part B1, you will have to describe what you will do, the work packages, the deliverables, the objectives of your project, everything that is related to your project should be there. And this is, you will have to present it with a specific structure. You have to use the 3 main criteria, which is the excellence, the impact, and the implementation. But we will talk about that in a while. What I would like to highlight here is that this part has a strict page limit of 30 pages. Then we have part B2, where you can see the 2 tables with data for non-academic beneficiaries and for the data in general for all organizations, as you can see on the slide. In part B2, you will also have to provide the letter of commitments from all associated partners that are participating in your consortium. Now, let's go to evaluation criteria. The evaluation of the proposals is performed by experts and is based on these 3 evaluation criteria. And as you can see already on the slide, they have a different weighting, each one of them. So excellence holds the 50% of the weighting, while impact is worth 30%, and the quality and efficiency of implementation 20%. Of course, they are all very important. Now, if we talk about first for excellence, we are in the first pillar of Horizon Europe Excellent Science, and therefore the quality, the high quality and pertinence of the project research and innovation objectives is very important. Now, here you have to, in this paragraph, in the excellence paragraph, you have to emphasize the original and innovative aspects of your proposal, and show why your proposal is ambitious and why it goes beyond the state of the art. Highlight the international, interdisciplinary, and intersectoral aspects, and make sure that all these aspects are evident. Consider also the gender dimension and other diversity aspects. And also, don't forget to mention and describe the quality of open science practices. Here also, you can describe the added value of your project. Now, if we talk about the impact of the project, this is where you will show the credibility of your project. You have to describe here how your project will create new and lasting collaborations and how the transfer of knowledge between the participants will be achieved. Describe here also how your project will improve the research and innovation potential in Europe and at global level, and how the researchers will have the opportunity to advance their careers and enhance their skills. Describe also how you will spread the news, how you will disseminate your results to specific target group, and how you will specify the impact that this will have, how you will measure this impact. Also take into account the scientific, the economic, and the societal impact. And now for the third criteria, Here is you will describe what will happen, how will happen, and by whom. You have to be very clear on the parameters of the work, the objectives you aim to achieve, your work packages, your deliverables, and the project's overall management. Provide sound plans of how you're going to monitor the the progress of your projects, and mention all the critical risks and your actions to mitigate that risk. This will, of course, increase the credibility of your proposal. Also outline strong points for each partner, show the complementarity that each partner has in the consortium, and show the hosting arrangements that they have in place, and the necessary expertise that is there that brings and makes a strong consortium. Now, all proposals that will score more than 70% will be considered for funding. I will finish the presentation with some tips and tricks that are displayed in this slide. So we advise you to follow closely the call requirements and be in line with the actions, objectives, and expected outcomes. Use the structure provided in the template and address all the evaluation criteria that we mentioned before. Highlight the EU dimensions, show that your proposal addresses EU policy priorities and societal challenges. It is also a very good idea to get a second opinion. Have your proposal proofread by a colleague or pre-screened by your national contact point. The sustainability of collaboration is also very important. Describe the benefits of this collaboration and how they will go beyond of this project, how they will continue. You can find the contact list of all national contact points on the website of AREA, and we strongly advise that you contact them and ask for their support. Now, let's see some key dates and the budget call for this year. The call is open. It has opened in the 5th of October 2023, and it closes, this is the deadline, on the 28th of February in 2024. So you still have some months to work on it. The call budget for this year is 78.5 million euros, and if you want to hear more and more details about our action, then we kindly invite you to our info session, which will take place on the 8th of December on 2023, so next Friday. Last, if you want to work as an expert with us, you can do that by visiting the Funding and Tenders Opportunities portal. And here you can click on Work as an Expert, create your profile, and register with us. Don't forget to update regularly your CV, your keywords, and then to be ready and update, to have updated all your data. Now, Jesus, I've finished here my presentation with how to submit your proposal. So the floor is back to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Rodrigo, and thank you, Vasily. It's so important to include in your proposals non-academic sector, companies, SMEs, and also contact the national contact point. We are here to help our applicants. We review proposals, we give advice, and now I pass the floor to Enrica Hill. Is a success story from a company, a Spanish company participating in RISE projects. So we know that you are having another meeting at 11. So the floor is yours, Enrica, and explain your experience working in this kind of project.
Thanks, Jesus. First of all, can you hear me?
Yes, perfectly.
Yes.
That's great. Thanks for thanks to the Commission as well for having us here explaining. I will now try to share my screen. Please let me know if you can see my presenter screen.
Yes. Perfect.
Thank you very much. So we are Alias Robotics. We are a robot cybersecurity company. I'm Enrica Gil Uriarte, CEO at Alias. We are here to introduce our testimonial with MSCA staff changes programs, in particular with regards to this RESPECT project that we've got ongoing since 2021. Now, if you allow me a little bit more on us, we are a global company, but heavily headquartered in the EU. This is in northern Spain, in Vitoria-Gasteiz in particular, where our proud headquarters are, and where I'm speaking from today. Now, the company is highly global, as I said, and we've got a global footprint. We used to have a more deeper footprint in the US with offices there, which we had to switch off because of the pandemic. But currently we're leveraging on partners to reach more locations in best shape. We are a company that was born in 2017 upon a prior exit in the robotics industry with the deep expertise and know-how of us working in creating robots from scratch, from manipulators to drones. Now, ever since the company was founded, we've experienced very deep growth in this robot cybersecurity niche, and this is because there is an absolute need on this. I will elaborate later on that and how this is relevant also to the Respect project. But as a take-home message, it's important to highlight that the Respect project started in preparation just with the pandemic was at its very worst in 2020. And we got Respect going and granted in the first half of 2021. Now, at the advent of the Respect projects, new cybersecurity regulations have been announced within the European Union, and we'll later see how this is relevant also to the advent of the project. Now, these regulations are little by little coming into force, and as you can maybe imagine, this is also very, very aligned with the impact of projects like ours. Now, some achievements by our company that you can see listed below. We're very, very proud of many of those, but again, very happy if you want to come visit us and on our website and learn more on it. About the problem that we are solving at Alias Robotics, basically, industrial automation and robotics in particular brings new opportunities to business, but also new risks associated to attacks happening to this kind of platforms. So in the niche that we are working, if you want to name it, the robot cybersecurity market niche or the cyber physical system security market niche, our company has contributed to filing more than 1,200 vulnerabilities pertaining to these robot systems to date. 10 plus independent market studies point to us as one of the market leaders in these sectors, and we have filed more than 20 pieces of research publicly. Now, this is the problem that we are precisely solving. Robots are frequently not created to be cyber secure, and this could be impacting settings such as safety. We are seeing this proof of concept video that we put together in our offices here in Vitoria-Gasteiz, where a safety setting is remotely disabled by an attacker in one of these service-oriented robots. Now, these robots became particularly important in the COVID-19 outbreak because they were being used with UV lights on top to be disinfecting against the SARS-CoV-2 virus. Now, the second and the third proof of concepts illustrate how precisely this translates to other robotic instances, such as the industrial manipulators. And in this case, we proof of concepted how these systems might be vulnerable to ransomware type attacks. So now diving in more into the Respect project. We are a project that is formed by 11 proud consortium members. We are 5 countries represented, Spain, Greece, Cyprus, and France, that you will see depicted in the diagram. And you will see that there's an intermix of industry or non-academic and academic members. In particular, you'll see that most of the countries are represented with an academic and non-academic, let's say, institution on this Respect project. So diving a little bit more on the project objectives, the project is fully focused on secure and privacy preserving indoor robotics. in healthcare environments. So this goes related precisely to the problem that I was stating before. This was a problem that was already identified by our companies, and we just managed to identify the right call to expose our, let's say, intrigues in terms of R&D and in terms of market fit of the research program as well. So the project itself is intended to create a sustainable European and intersectorial network of organizations working on defense strategies to ensure secure robots, basically in healthcare environments and the logistic application therein. So specifically, the objectives of the projects were to identify the weaknesses and the vulnerabilities and on these kind of robots, and then define and standardize a minimal set of testing procedures in this kind of very newly, let's say, acquired technologies and very much needed niche of technological, let's say, innovation. Now, it's very important to identify that this happens in a safety critical setting. And as you can imagine, healthcare environments where patients are coexisting with this kind of technologies are particularly important to consider. Now, this project is being implemented through staff exchanges, and this is, as I said, being promoted amongst partners of industry and academia across 5 different EU countries, as I was highlighting before. Now, the RESPECT projects builds and enhances upon a prior existing technology called endorsed technologies, which indeed elaborate on logistics applications of healthcare environments using mobile robots. You can see to your right in the illustration, or in the image, better said, several kind of logistics robots that are currently being used in healthcare applications. Now, first one has comprises a mobile base with a manipulator on top that can be used, for instance, for taking swabs of patients in the COVID-19 outbreak. Now, the second and third could be very easily figured out with a telepresence robot and one, let's say, purely logistic robots oriented to handle materials, for instance. Now, as you can imagine, and as Vasiliki was very nicely introducing before, the project typically is framed using work packages that are spanning the timeline of the project. In our case, you can see overlaid the work packages of the RESPECT project with work packages dealing with a specific functional specification. Of course, the gross of the project dealing with weakness identification, defense measures, and assessment criteria and performance evaluation of our solution in RESPECT. But also bits and work packages dedicated to dissemination, training, and exploitation, and a transversal work package dealing with project management. Now, today, I'd like to bring you as well a couple of success stories on our side and a couple of testimonials that hopefully can enrich and spark discussion of the present organizations today here. So the first success story that I want to bring today belongs to a professional profile that is working for us for many years. Is an experienced researcher, a roboticist, namely, that has been on secondment in University of Orleans, that is a French partner to the RESPECT project, with focus on work package 4, with assessment criteria and the evaluation framework that I presented before. And the testimonial by this particular researcher is aligned that with the positive experience of the immersive experience in the academic world. So this person in particular did not have the chance of engaging into higher education at university level and to engage in the research methodologies, cutting edge technologies, and the approaches to problem solving. Now, the connections with researchers around the EU were mentioned before by Vasiliki and Rodrigo. But in this case, this researcher deems very important that these kind of experiences will improve future delivery at the company in his day-to-day basis. So second success story, if you allow me, deals with a different kind of professional profile in our company. So this is an early stage researcher. In particular, this is an OT or industrial cybersecurity specialist. He's been in a company not that long ago, and he's been working in the University d'Orléans as a hosting organization. He's been working on assessment criteria and evaluation framework, which is the ongoing work at the Respect project, but in particular working on a different aspect. Prior one was working in the EU medical device regulation. Sorry, I forgot to mention it. And how this Respect project complies to this EU medical device regulation, but this one is working upon a very novel robot technology, which is called robot operating system. Now, these researchers' testimonial include that delving into ROS for healthcare robots, remember that he was an OT, industrial cybersecurity specialist, has enriched him because he's has a practical access to robotics technology that is being used in healthcare environment, but also to dedicate to researcher or research infrastructure. Again, it's consistently mentioned that this know-how will help the future career development by this particular profile. Last but not least, the cooperation with ongoing PhD candidates and researchers in the home institution was mentioned by this particular profile. Now, as a company, if you want my take home as a company and our take home as a company, I will name four. First one is increased competitiveness by establishing these bonds amongst European and potentially also non-European partners. Second one is access to new market niches. If you remember, the medical robotics niche is precisely where the Respect project is working, and this is an emerging market when it comes to device cybersecurity. Although it's a highly regulated, let's say, niche by the, for instance, the EU medical device regulation, this is still to be complemented on the cybersecurity matters. And we've leveraged on the Respect project also to reach this new market and better markets on better clients in better shape, let's say. Now, we found very interesting that this project has lowered the onboarding curve to new hires. So hiring talent is one problem that we've consistently have in the cybersecurity sector. And in our case, for people that are not that long ago into this cybersecurity sector or the robot cybersecurity sector that we're working, we found that this highly relevant that we leverage upon these instruments also to improve our onboarding curves for new hires. Now, the fourth, last but not least, the network at European level has been consolidated with this EU project. Now, we did have a prior existing network, but again, this is a key element or a key actuation to further strengthen it. Last but not least, two of the links of the Respect project are pasted below, the LinkedIn webpage and the overall webpage if you are interested to learn more. And yeah, I'd like to finish up thanking everyone for your attention and again, the Commission for inviting us.
Thank you so much, Enrica, for your presentation. I think it's very, very interesting to see how a company is involved in this kind of projects. Rodrigo and Vasiliki, they explained this call has a very high success rate. It's almost 30%, so it's a good opportunity. And also, not only for academic sector, but the non-academic sector, a company like yours improving competitiveness, opening to new markets, new collaborations, and I think it's quite interesting and see that many companies are participating. So Many of the participants in the info day are from academic sector, so I will suggest include companies, SMEs, local SMEs as your project. We found academic from Spain, a company from Spain, an academic from Greece, and a company from Greece, and send and receive a staff exchange. So it's quite interesting, your project, and I advise all the participants to check your project and your company and understand how it works, the collaboration between universities, research center, and companies. Now we have some time for questions. Rodrigo and Vasiliki, we have one question regarding the UK participation in this call, and also if Eastern Europe, European countries, low-income countries permitting secondments from high-income European countries. So the floor is yours, and all the participants are invited to include send questions during the event.
Thank you, Jesus. Well, we are profiting of the fact that we are two here in the room from REA. We are going to split. I will take the first part of the question, and then I will give the floor to my colleague Vasiliki. Thank you as well, Ulrike, for putting forward such an interesting question. Well, UK participants, they can participate in a project. They can participate in a project as a associated partner, still in the call Staff Exchange 2023. This is going to change because of the agreement association signed by the UK government with the European Union that was signed now recently in autumn 2023, but will not change will change from 1st January 2024. That means this will apply for the call 2024, where they will as well participate as full beneficiaries as any other entity located in a associated partner to the Horizon Europe program. But still, unfortunately, for the Staff Exchange 2023 call, they can only participate as associated partner. Nevertheless, they are more than welcome because the UK participants, they are, in our experience, bringing quite high added value to all the projects. And they are more than welcome to participate. We cannot, of course, speak on behalf of the UK government, but we believe that for the call 2023, there might be a similar mechanism at the current one existing for the project that we are funding under call 2022 in such a way that the UK part is funded by the UCRI. But as I said, we cannot yet confirm that part because this will correspond, of course, to the British authorities. And then, Vasiliki.
Yes. Now, related to the secondments that are eligible for EU funding. Now, let's summarize again what is the issue here. So we have the beneficiaries from EU member states and associated countries, okay? And they can send and host secondments as explained, same sector up to 1/3, and also, of course, between different sectors. Now, when it comes to the third countries, now we have two categories: the low middle income countries and the high income countries. I advise you to download this list on the guide that is available on the guide for applicants. Now, the secondments from EU member state and associated countries, they are eligible for EU funding to all third countries. Now, on the way back, the secondments from a low-medium income country to an EU member state or associated country is funded, but the one from the high-income third country to EU member state or associated country is not eligible for EU funding. However, there are mechanisms that can fund this part only. Again, the part from EU member state to and associated country to any third country is funded. It's on the other way around. So from the high income third country to EU member states or associated country, that is not funded by this action. As we said, we have seen also in all our projects that there are complementary mechanisms. I mentioned some during the presentation, but you can also check our guide for applicants. There are complementary mechanisms in some countries that are matching and combining very well with the MSCA Staff Exchanges action.
We have another question, maybe for Rodrigo, if you can elaborate a bit more on the expected deliverables that you mentioned, that the mobility is the deliverable. So.
Thank you, Jesus. Thank you as well, Eftimia, for such an interesting question. Well, maybe I was not clear enough. That's very good that you put forward such a question. Well, when we say that the secondments are the main deliverable, is because we pay the secondment is let me say, the unit that is triggering the reimbursement of the cost incurred during the implementation of the project. But that does not prevent, of course, and when you are preparing your project, that indeed the project is a scientific and technological project to be implemented, and the outcomes of that project will be as well deliverables, papers, books, conferences, and all this has to be as well defined in the proposal of a project, and will be as well checked and evaluated during the implementation of the project by us, by the project officers, that we are monitoring the implementation of the project. But I insist, the question here is that we are reimbursing the cost incurred during the secondment. Secondment is the, let me say, unit triggering the payment. That's why for every single secondment, or every month that is implemented within a secondment, we pay 4,600 euros, because this is the unit, is a unit cost base. But I insist, of course, we are funding research and innovation projects, and these research and innovation projects, they have deliverables, research deliverables that have to be as well provided and are evaluated and checked by us at the time of performing as well the interim payment and the final payment by the end of the project.
Thank you. There is another question from Luis Miguel. This is about the unit cost. The 2,300 cost is to be given to the staff being seconded. To avoid paying additional income taxes, I would like to confirm that the sending institution can use those funds to subcontract first the travel and accommodation. I can answer this because this is based on the national law. So I assume that Luis Miguel is Spanish, and this is how the institution pay the per diem, the use for the researcher is depending the national law. In Spain, you can, as you mentioned, pay the flight and the accommodation directly from the institution, and the resting of the unit cost you can provide usually per diem. Per diem in Spain, there are no taxes, so you can use this formula. Anyway, you can contact us and we can have a meeting and we can explain how the Spanish institutions are dealing with the unit cost for the researchers. And also for the rest of the participants in other countries, contact your national contact point and they can explain the different situation for this unit cost for your nationals. And there is another question, Rodrigo Basiliki, is there are a question about the checks of the financial capacity for SMEs taking part of a RISE or staff exchange project.
So this part is taken over by our financial, our colleagues in the financial unit, and practically there is a list of documents that are requested by you, and then the financial capacity assessment is taking place, and we have the result of it. So it is practically all the data that are required from you to be delivered to them, and then the financial capacity is assessed.
And I think the last one is about if a university from India is eligible to take part of the MSCA Staff Exchange program.
Yes, well, they are eligible. They can participate in a staff exchange project, but they are not eligible for funding, and this is the difference. But of course, they are more than welcome to participate in a staff exchange project because we know that India is bringing as well. Indian participants are bringing as well high added value to our projects. But unfortunately, India is considered already by the European Commission as high-income country. Therefore, Indian participants, they have to participate in our projects with their own funding and their resources.
Okay, and the last one, and we will continue is a question about the countries considered associated countries.
You can find the list of the associated countries in the guide for applicants. There is a PDF file that practically has a list of all countries that, according to Horizon Europe, they are either associated countries or third countries, high income and low or medium income. So you will find the list, and then you will have all the possible partners and what they can do from this file.
I will answer all the questions during the info day. I will answer all the questions. And now I want to give the floor to Ana Sibila. Ana Sibila is one of the project advisors from MSCA. And she's going to present the Enterprise Europe Network as the Maria Skłodowska-Curie Action Staff Exchange needs the participation of the non-academic sector. The Enterprise Europe Network is the biggest network for helping SMEs to participate in European programs. So Ana Sibila is going to present this initiative that is managed by MSCA, and I'm really happy that you joined the Marie Curie community. So the floor is yours, Anna.
Thanks a lot. And first of all, I would like to thank you, the colleagues from RIA, who invited me to be here with them. We are sitting in the same room. Very pleased of this joint initiative. Our agency, MSCA, is founding mainly the innovation part of the Horizon Europe, plus activities under the entrepreneurship. And we are connected very strongly to the DG GROW rather than DG RTD. So we are complementing each other very well. Today, I'm going to quickly present you one of the flagship initiatives founded under the Single Market Program, which is the so-called Enterprise Europe Network. This is a network of business intermediaries, and it's formed by organizations in the territories. So we cover Europe, but not only. Please, next. We involved in this Enterprise Europe Network more than 400 organizations, but we have 3,000 experts working within this organization. We are covering almost 30 countries all over Europe, but we have also connections with international partners in countries such as US, India, Africa, Mexico, and many others. I will present the list later. The project, because this is a project founded by the Commission, is receiving 164 million for 3 years. It seems really a big amount of money, but the cake is split in a number of consortia. So at the end, it's the minimum we can give to cover the activities. Next slide. So in general, the composition of the network is very varied. We have different host organizations. A big bulk is formed by the chambers of commerce, regional chambers of commerce, but then we have specialized private or public bodies active in given sector of technologies. We have several regional government or development innovation agency founded bodies. We have, of course, research institutes, some universities, but this is not the core of the network. We have some little number of professional association and other. Under this order, you can find from more publicly-oriented to more business support organizations. Next. So this is to give you an idea in terms of number or volume of activities. The period that we are taking into consideration is from 2008 until 2021. So I would say the past programming periods, talking as in Commission jargons. So for during this period, we have been helping more than 4 million SMEs, mainly providing them with information services and training sessions, but also accompanying those companies in matchmaking events between business from other countries. Our objective is, in fact, to promote partnerships, bringing together companies from different countries. For what it concerns innovation, which is one of the topics we work the most, we have been providing tailored innovation support packages to the most innovative companies we are helping, but also we are advising those companies in how to get better funding from the EU, for instance, how be better prepared to participate to the call for proposals, how to protect their IPR, and many other services around innovation. Next. So this is a little bit the picture of our network. We are covering the EU 27, and we have also international partners which are allocated on the right part of the slide. The last country who signed a cooperation agreement with us is Tunisia, so is the last one joining the family of the network. Of course, the EU funding is only for partners and consortia located in the EU. International partners, they are self-supporting, so that they have to ensure the funding themselves to cover the activities. Next. So, which is the philosophy and the approach of the network? All the consortia are functioning with a client-centric approach, which means that there is one client who is offered with a set of different services. The client, we said also that there are tailored services in the sense that the advisor, the expert of the network who is meeting the company is first of all trying to understand which is the type of the company. Is a young company or not? Is a startup or not? Is a well-established company or not? Is a family business or not? Which is the technologies they are working on? Where are they located? Which is the ecosystem around the company? So we really do, our experts really do an assessment of the company itself, but also the condition around the company. To do all this, we need expertise. So this network is continuously learning and increasing the expertise of the people involved in the network. And all this is to provide better services to the companies and to other kind of clients they also have. Next. Quickly, this is to give you an idea of the areas that the network is covering in supporting company. I already mentioned innovation, but there is a big group of experts dealing with sustainability, which is becoming a key enabler for company to contribute to the decarbonization of our economy. Then resilience, which is pretty new, but gaining relevance after the shocks of related to the economic crisis or situation of world at the borders of Europe. A strong focus is on the single market, so exchanges and business within the European single market. Business partnering, this I already mentioned. We want to support partnering between companies located in different countries. Digitalization is another key policy for Europe, and companies need to be accompanied to better integrate this in their activities. Internationalization is another core services that we cover, and access to finance, because without funding, companies, especially the smallest one, may have difficulty to survive. Next slide. Here briefly, really just to give you an idea of the type of expertise that we are covering in the network. We are tackling the sectors illustrated and covered by the industrial ecosystems, and around those 15, 16 key strategic areas. Our network is building, capacity building, knowledge sharing, competence and knowledge, all these to provide afterwards better support to the companies. Before closing, next slide. I want to take the advantage of the presentation of Indica, alias Robotics, to provide you with a concrete example. So we now we know that alias Robotics is a very innovative company. It's pretty young one. I was born in 2017, so it's growing fast. We can imagine that one of our experts, I would say even Jesus in Madrid, is contacted by Indica. What they do at the very beginning, they meet. They have an exploratory meeting, and Jesus, together with Indica, they prepare a sort of need assessment. Together, they check where is the company in its development. What's the need they have for the future development? So this is really the very first approach. And then I would say that in the sector that alias Robotics is covering, one of the big problems they may face is the new cyber security regulation. So Jesus most likely will address Indica and the company to experts that are dealing precisely with regulations in the area of cybersecurity. Also, I can easily imagine that the company would like to apply for funding under the innovation strengths of the Horizon Europe. What Jesus can do for the company is helping Indica in preparing the proposal for an application in the AC accelerator. Jesus can also put the company in contact with a national contact point that can complement the action of the two networks. The Enterprise Europe Network has also competence to do a proofreading of the proposals. So this is also very useful because the success rate under the AC accelerator is very low. So it's a very competitive call. And this is one of the services that the companies appreciate the most, in fact. Moreover, before the pitching with investors, EN can provide support in preparing the CO and the companies. Let's imagine that this AC accelerator proposal is successful. The network can also help the company if needed with the implementation. Sometimes there could be some issues with the administration, with the reporting. The network is there. another service is partnering services. Let's imagine that Endica, with this company, would like to go to an international fair dedicated to security, cybersecurity. The Enterprise Europe Network accompany business to those fairs and can also help to organize B2B meetings with potential clients, potential or other organizations that are based in other countries where Endica could expand the business. So I think that I'm done with this. I hope to have covered the main point of collaboration and connection with your call.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Anna. Yes, and as you can see in all of the participants, we organize this Info Day and brokerage event in the framework of the Enterprise Europe Network. Now, many of you will have one-to-one meetings online with the B2B platform that we created in the last month. And I'm glad that we finished at 11:32. So many meetings are starting now. So for those participants that they book meetings, some of you are starting now in 11:30, and through the brokerage event website, you can have all the meetings. You can include some colleagues to your one-to-one meetings, and I want to wish you a very successful now one-to-one meetings. During the day, you can accept new meetings, and I hope this pilot is our first brokerage event in the Maria Sklodowska-Curie action. We book, I think there are 100 meetings during this morning, afternoon. I'm really happy and I'm really glad that the many institutions and companies are interested in the program. Nothing more from my side. I want to thank you, Vasiliki, Rodrigo, and Anna for your collaboration. And I think it's something really good put together. It's MEA, RIA, the Enterprise Europe Network, and the Maria Sklodowska-Curie action. I want to also to highlight that all the Enterprise Europe Network services are for free. Contact your EM delegate in your country, in your region, and they can provide all the services that Anna and Nasibila explained, that they are for free, and we are eager to have you in our office to explain all the possibilities with Marie Curie and with the other programs. So now I think it's time for the one-to-one meetings, and thank you for participating in this fantastic info session.
Many thanks from our side. Just maybe to remind that we will try to reply all the questions, and we provide a document with the replies to all the participants.
Yes, all the presentation and the recording will be published in the MSCA Net account and our account. And anyway, they can contact me directly if they have any question, and I can forward for some of you or the other NCPs. Thank you so much.
Many thanks.
Thank you very much from our side. Have a nice day and enjoy your meetings.
Bye-bye.
Yes.
Enjoy your meetings. Thank you, Jesus.